My envious sister-in-law and her family accused me of stealing her precious diamond ring, but when the truth came to light, she was not prepared for the shock of a lifetime. Let me take you on this roller coaster of betrayal, disbelief, and one jaw-dropping twist after another. I'm a 29-year-old woman, married to my wonderful husband Shane, 31, for 5 incredible years. We have a strong relationship and live a comfortable, happy life. Shane, however, has a sister, Tori, 33 years old and married to Mike, 35, for 8 years, who has never been my biggest fan. From the moment Shane introduced me to his family, I could tell Tori had a problem with me. At first, I chalked it up to her being protective of her little brother. But over time, it became glaringly clear there was something deeper behind her hostility. You see, I come from a middle-class family. My parents worked tirelessly to give me and my siblings everything we needed. No luxuries, but plenty of love. I earned scholarships to college, worked part-time jobs, and built my career step by step, eventually landing a great position at a tech company. Tori, on the other hand, grew up surrounded by wealth and privilege. Money was never a concern for her. She attended a posh private college, married Mike, who also came from money, and has never worked a day in her life. Instead, she spends her days shopping, lounging at spas, and attending lavish social events. When Shane and I started dating, Tori made it crystal clear that she didn't think I was good enough for her brother. Her snide comments about my clothes, job, and upbringing cut deep. She even tried setting Shane up with her wealthy friends while he was still dating me. But love prevailed. Despite Tori's disapproval, Shane and I got married. Our wedding was small and intimate, something we paid for ourselves, but it was perfect. Of course, Tori found reasons to complain about everything, from the food to the decorations. She even had the audacity to show up in a white dress. I bit my tongue to avoid drama, but her disdain was loud and clear. Over the years, Shane's career flourished. He earned several promotions, allowing us to buy a beautiful home and enjoy some well-deserved vacations. Instead of being happy for us, Tori's jealousy seemed to grow. She constantly compared our lives to hers, always trying to outdo us. The tipping point came last month during a family weekend at Shane's parents' lake house. I didn't want to go, being around Tori is like walking on eggshells, but Shane convinced me it would be good for family bonding. On the first night, things were tolerable. Tori barely acknowledged me, which was fine by me. But Saturday? That's when everything unraveled. After lunch, Tori suggested we play board games. Midway through, she began flaunting her new diamond ring, a stunning piece her husband had surprised her with for their anniversary. She went on and on about how expensive it was. I complimented the ring, trying to keep the peace, but she rolled her eyes like I wasn't even worthy of admiring it. Later, I decided to take a nap, exhausted from the morning swim and the tense atmosphere. I headed to the guest room Shane and I were staying in, completely unaware of the chaos brewing downstairs. I woke up to shouting. Confused, I rushed down to find Tori in hysterics. Her diamond ring was missing. Tori was beside herself, tearing through the living room, throwing cushions, and appending furniture. Then, out of nowhere, she pointed at me. She took it, she screamed. She's jealous of me and my ring, and she stole it. I was stunned. Me? Steal her ring? I denied it, of course, and Shane immediately came to my defense. But Tori wasn't having it. She insisted I was the only one who'd been alone in the house while everyone else was outside. She demanded I empty my pockets and bags. Humiliated, I complied, desperate to prove my innocence. But the ring wasn't there. You'd think that would be enough, right? Wrong. Tori's husband, Mike, joined the attack, accusing me of hiding the ring somewhere. You're just jealous, he spat, suggesting they search our room. I was mortified. Even Shane's parents, who had always been kind to me, looked unsure. Shane's dad suggested we search the house thoroughly. Hours passed. We scoured every corner, but the ring was nowhere to be found. Suspicion hung heavy in the air. By dinner, the tension was unbearable. Tori sobbed dramatically while Mike glared daggers at me. Whispered conversations swirled among Shane's cousins, and I could feel their accusing stares burning into me. Then came the final blow. Shane's dad pulled him aside and said, loud enough for me to overhear, "Man up. Make her give the ring back or pay for it. It's worth thousands, and Tori's devastated." Shane snapped. He shouted at his dad, furious that his family would accuse me without a shred of proof. "She's innocent," he yelled. "Tori probably misplaced it." What followed was an explosive argument, with everyone taking sides. I couldn't take it anymore. Shane grabbed my hand, declared we were leaving, and told his family he was ashamed of how they treated me. The drive home was silent except for Shane's apologies. His family's betrayal cut him deeply, and it showed. When we got home, his phone buzzed relentlessly, texts from Tori, Mike, and even his parents. Tori demanded we pay for the ring, while Mike accused me of ruining their lives. Shane, protective as ever, blocked them all. Now, a week later, the storm hasn't subsided. Tori's been blasting me on social media, painting herself as the victim. Shane's extended family urges us to do the right thing and pay for the ring to restore peace. But what's the right thing when you're innocent? Do I stand firm, knowing the truth, or give in, risking a lifetime of Tori's manipulation? And more importantly, how do we heal from this fracture that's tearing us all apart? Family. A word that should bring comfort, support, and love. But in my case, it became the battleground for a nightmare I couldn't escape. Should we pay for the ring to keep the peace? How could I prove my innocence when there wasn't a shred of evidence to exonerate me? These questions haunted me day and night. Sleepless nights turned into anxious days. I couldn't focus at work. My thoughts swirled with frustration and disbelief. Shane, my rock, promised he would stand by me no matter what. But I could see it in his eyes, the pain, the helplessness. This wasn't just tearing me apart, it was ripping him to shreds too. So, Reddit, I have to ask, should I confess to something I didn't do? Should I pay for a ring I didn't take just to end this chaos? How do I fix this mess without sacrificing my integrity? Update, 3 months later, and oh, how things have changed. When I first shared my story, I could never have imagined what would unfold. But let me tell you, the truth has a way of rising to the surface, no matter how deeply it's buried. It started 2 weeks after the disaster at the lake house. Out of the blue, Shane's cousin Leah called me. Her voice was urgent, almost trembling. "I need to talk to you," she said. She had information about Tori's missing ring and insisted we meet in person. My heart raced. Could this be it? Or was it another twist in an already tangled web? We met the next day at a small cafe. Leah was a bundle of nerves, her eyes darting around like she expected someone to burst in and stop her. Finally, she leaned in and whispered a bombshell. Angela, Ethan's girlfriend, had confided in her. Apparently, Mike, Tori's husband, was the culprit. Mike and Ethan had borrowed money from a loan shark for a business venture. But instead of investing it, they squandered it all on gambling and wild nights in Vegas. When the loan shark came calling, desperate and broke, Mike stole Tori's ring and sold it to make a partial payment. I was speechless. Relief washed over me like a tidal wave, so I wasn't crazy. I hadn't taken the ring. But that relief was quickly replaced by anger. How could Mike do this to his own wife? How could he let me take the fall? Leah confessed she didn't know what to do. She felt guilty for keeping it a secret but feared the chaos it would unleash. I thanked her for her courage and promised to handle it carefully. That night, I told Shane everything. At first, he was skeptical. How could his brother-in-law be capable of such betrayal? But the more we pieced things together, the more it made sense. Mike's nervous behavior during the ring's disappearance. His eagerness to accuse me. The puzzle pieces were finally falling into place. Shane sprang into action. He started by reaching out to Mike's old college friends, uncovering a hidden history of gambling. Some even mentioned his recent financial troubles. To solidify our case, Shane hired a private investigator. Weeks of digging led to irrefutable evidence, bank statements showing massive withdrawals, credit card charges from Vegas casinos, and, most damning of all, pawn shop footage of Mike selling the ring. Armed with the truth, Shane called a family meeting. The air was electric with tension as everyone gathered at his parents' house. Tori glared at me, cold as ice, while Mike avoided my eyes altogether. Shane opened with a calm yet firm tone, thanking everyone for coming and stating it was time to clear the air. Then, he dropped the bombshell. Silence. Absolute, deafening silence. Tori looked confused. Mike? He went as pale as a ghost. Piece by piece, Shane laid out the evidence, bank statements, casino charges, pawn shop footage. He even had Ethan on speakerphone, reluctantly confirming the entire sordid tale. The room erupted. Tori burst into tears, demanding answers from Mike. Is it true? Tell me it's not true, she sobbed. But Mike broke down, confessing everything. He stammered apologies, claiming he never meant for it to go this far and had planned to get the ring back. But it was too late. The damage was done. Tori was shattered, unable to fathom the betrayal. Shane's parents were horrified. They turned to me, their eyes filled with regret, and apologized for doubting me. One by one, the family began to unravel the lies they had been fed. In the aftermath, Mike moved out, his marriage to Tori crumbled. He lost his job when his employer discovered the gambling and debts. Meanwhile, Tori called me, tearful and sincere, apologizing for everything, her accusations, her coldness, and the years of animosity. She admitted her jealousy and asked if we could rebuild our relationship. I hesitated but chose to forgive her, cautiously optimistic about starting fresh. Shane and I grew stronger through it all. He apologized for not believing in me fully from the start, and together, we vowed to protect our bond from anyone who dared to tear it apart again. Looking back, the journey was harrowing, but it taught me an invaluable lesson: truth and integrity will always prevail, no matter how dark the storm. The aftermath of everything that happened felt like a whirlwind, but it also became a turning point for Shane and me. I assured him that I understood how difficult the situation had been and how torn he must have felt between his loyalty to me and the pressure from his family. His unwavering support, even when things were at their worst, meant everything to me. Together, we decided that while maintaining relationships with his family was important, we would set boundaries, clear, firm ones, to avoid being dragged into such turmoil again. Surprisingly, the entire ordeal brought us closer together. We discovered a newfound strength in our bond, realizing that even in the face of doubt from others, we could rely on each other completely. It reinforced the importance of trust and honesty in our relationship, something we vowed never to take for granted again. And then there was Tori. True to her word, she genuinely tried to mend our relationship. She began inviting me for one-on-one coffee dates or lunches, a gesture that initially felt awkward. Our conversations were strained, with silences that seemed to stretch endlessly. But over time, those silences gave way to heartfelt confessions. She opened up about the weight of expectations in her privileged upbringing, the pressure to appear perfect, to live up to her family's name. In turn, I shared my own struggles, from building my career from the ground up to navigating a world where I often felt like I didn't belong. Slowly, a genuine connection began to form. At family gatherings, Tori transformed. Gone were the biting remarks and the passive-aggressive attempts to overshadow me. Instead, she was warm, even protective. When distant relatives brought up the ring incident, Tori would jump to my defense, shutting down the whispers before they could take root. Shane's parents also made a concerted effort to rebuild bridges. They often called just to check on me, invited us for dinners, and even sought my advice on various matters. Shane's dad, who once doubted me, now valued my perspective, calling it refreshingly grounded. Yet, not everything could be restored. Tori's ring, the source of all this chaos, was gone for good. The loan shark had sold it long before the truth came to light. Tori was heartbroken. Of course, it had been a gift from her father. But she confided in me that the experience had taught her something far more valuable, that trust and family were infinitely more precious than any material possession. Leah, Shane's cousin and my unexpected ally in uncovering the truth, became a close friend. She admitted she had wrestled with guilt for not speaking up sooner, but admired how I had handled everything with grace and resilience. We started having regular girls' nights out with some of the other cousins, a new tradition born from the ashes of a painful chapter. For me, this journey wasn't just about clearing my name, it was transformative. I had always felt a twinge of insecurity around Shane's family, a nagging sense that I didn't quite measure up to their world of wealth and status. But standing up for myself, insisting on the truth, and watching it finally emerge gave me a newfound confidence. I realized my worth wasn't tied to their approval, it was rooted in my own integrity and achievements. Shane and I took time to reflect deeply on what had happened. We agreed to be more assertive about our needs and limits within his family dynamics, understanding that healthy boundaries were essential for our peace of mind. To address the lingering stress, we started seeing a couples therapist, a proactive step to ensure that the scars from this ordeal didn't leave lasting damage. Then came a twist neither of us saw coming. Shane's company offered him a promotion. The catch? It required us to move to another state. After careful consideration, we decided to embrace the opportunity. It felt like the universe was offering us a fresh start, a chance to leave the shadows of the ring incident behind. When we shared the news with his family, reactions were mixed. Some were sad to see us go, while others understood our need for distance. Tori, in particular, seemed disappointed but promised to stay in touch and keep working on our relationship. Packing up our house became a time of reflection. As I sifted through our belongings, memories of the chaos played in my mind, the accusations, the family drama, the eventual vindication. Who would have thought a missing ring could unravel so many layers of family dynamics and personal growth? Yet, here we were, stronger for it. I had learned invaluable lessons about standing my ground, the importance of evidence before making accusations, and, above all, the power of forgiveness. On the day of our move, Tori surprised me with an emotional farewell. She thanked me for giving her a second chance and vowed to continue proving that she could be a better sister-in-law and friend. She even joked that she might visit us in our new city, just to show she could be fun without her designer clothes and lavish jewelry. Looking back, it's surreal to think about how far we've come since my original post. Life has a funny way of surprising you, doesn't it? Sometimes, the truth really is stranger than fiction. While I wouldn't wish this experience on anyone, I'm grateful for the growth it brought, not just in my relationships, but within myself. Now, Shane and I are eagerly stepping into this new chapter, ready to build a life defined by our own values, free from the shadows of past drama. And who knows? Maybe this fresh start will be the best decision we ever made.